Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. This is Rana Tanveer Hussain, and today, with the continuation of SkillEarn series, we are going to discuss our fifth topic with respect to the research skill. That is deduction, induction, and abduction. These are very important terms. Remember, when we are going to give a solution for the problem, we have to decide whether we are going to adopt the process of induction or the process of deduction or the combination of these two terms. So first of all, let's discuss what is deduction. Remember, deduction is basically a process in which we arrive at a reasoned conclusion by logical generalization of a known fact. Logical generalization of a known fact. So in one term, you can say we are going to do a theory testing process. In theory, basically, remember, theory is a generalized relationship. So if we have a generalized relationship in our hand, like a motivational theory, like a Maslow hierarchy theory of needs, like any theory, you name it, that is a generalized relationship. So you basically do some hypothesis, create some hypothesis, testable statements about that theory, and then collect data and analyze the data, and then accept or reject the hypothesis. Now, how do you do it? Let's say a theory is basically generated in let's say, America, in Europe. So let's test that theory in Pakistan. Does that theory also true with respect to the Pakistan or not? So we develop hypothesis accordingly, and then collect data from the Pakistani firms, and then analyze the data and accept or reject our testable statements and give a conclusion, a logical conclusion with respect to the specifically to the firms of Pakistan. So here we start from a generalized statement and then end at a specific statement with respect to a specific environment, that is Pakistan, right? So this is basically a theory testing process. So there could be a lot of examples about this. We know that all high performers are highly proficient in their jobs. So Mr. John is a high performer. We then conclude that he is highly proficient in his job. So a generalized relationship between performance and the proficiency is already existing. So a specific one is the Mr. John. So Mr. John is high performer. Let's collect the data about Mr. John and then analyze the data and then see whether the relationship between proficiency and performance exists or not. Right? So we collected the data about the Mr. John and then concluded that since Mr. John is a high performance, it means he is the highly proficient person. So from a generalized statement, we can give a specific conclusion about that. So this is the deduction in which we test a generalized statement in a specific environment. Now the next one is the induction one. In induction, we basically adopt a process where we observe a certain phenomena and on this basis arrive at a conclusion. So we give a generalized conclusion based upon a certain phenomena. And this is basically a process of theory generation. How do we do it? Like in other words, in induction, we logically establish a generalized proposition, generalized statement based upon an observed fact, basically. For example, we observe a specific phenomena at a specific location, and then we observe certain patterns and themes. And after analyzing these patterns and themes, we formulate some relationship, and we give a name to that relationship, and that name becomes a theory. And that generalized relationship basically is further tested in the deduction process. So in induction, we start from a specific situation, right? And then after analyzing the patterns and the relationship in that specific situation, we give a name to that relationship, and that name become a generalized theory for everyone to study. So then researchers start the testing that theory. So this is basically the theory generation process. This is induction. And the next one is the abduction. In abduction, basically, what we do, we combine both. Like in induction, we generate theory. In deduction, we test that theory. If a researcher generate a theory and then test that theory in the same research, it means he is going to follow the abduction process, right? So induction is a theory generation process, abduction is a deduction is a theory testing process, and abduction is the combination of generation and the testation of the theory. I hope you have got the idea what is the difference between the induction, deduction, and abduction. Thank you so much.